Hello everyone, very warm welcome to ITLS Academy. The topic of today's lecture is the adult stem cells. We have already covered two parts of this topic. This is third part and let us start. Various kind of stem cells we have seen that were derived from the nervous system by the central nervous system. Let us see fetal central nervous system stem cells. We will see stem cells that are derived from the fetal CNS, that is fetal central nervous system. First point, not surprisingly, fetal stem cells are numerous in fetal tissues, where they are assumed to play an important role in the expansion and differentiation of all tissues of the developing organism. Depending on the developmental stage of an animal, fetal stem cells and precursor cells which arise from stem cells may make up the bulk of a tissues. Next point, it may seem obvious that the fetal brain contains stem cells that can generate all the types of neurons in the brain as well as astrocytes and oligodendrocytes. But it was not until fairly recently that the concept was proven experimentally. The normal development of the brain depends not only on the proliferation and differentiation of these fetal stem cells but also on a genetically programmed process of selective cell death called apoptosis. In this diagram, you can see these are isolation from CNS tissues. These are differentiation from pluripotent cells. And these are transdifferentiation from somatic cells. Let us first see isolations from CNS tissues. Here you can see fetal brain and adult brains are shown. The difference in fetal brain and adult brain you can easily distinguish. Like the fetal brain does not have much more sulci and gyri. Sulci and gyri are parts or foldings of the brain that are present in adult brain, but these are very less in the case of fetal brain. Next one is differentiation from pluripotent cells. Differentiated cells are embryonic stem cell and induced pluripotent stem cells. When it comes to transdifferentiation from somatic cells, this is skin fibroblast, these are urine cells and these are blood cells. All these cells further go for differentiation in neural stem cells. These neural stem cells on further differentiation forms immortalized neural stem cells. Now we are going to see central nervous system neural crest stem cells. First point is, during fetal development, neural crest cells migrate from the sides of the neural tube as it closes. The cells differentiate into a range of tissues, not all of which are part of the nervous system. Neural crest cells migrate far more extensively than other fetal neural stem cells during development. This development is from mesenchymal tissues, most of which develop from embryonic mesoderm, as well as the components of the CNS and PNS, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, which arises from embryonic ectoderm. Next point, recent studies indicate that neural crest cells persist late into gestation and can be isolated from E14.5 rat sciatic nerve. This is a nerve of rat present in peripheral nerve in the hind limb. This is the name of that particular nerve. When transplanted into chick embryos, the rat neural crest cells develop into neurons and glia, an indication of their stem cell-like properties. However, the ability of rat E14.5 rat sciatic stem cell taken from sciatic nerve to generate nerve and glial cells in chick is more limited than neural crest cells derived from younger E10.5 rat embryos. Next point, neural crest cells from early developmental stages are more sensitive to bone morphogenic protein, in short BMP2 signaling, and this signaling may help explain their greater differentiation potential. Stem cells in the bone marrow and blood. First point, one population of bone marrow cells, the hematopoietic stem cells, is responsible for forming all of the types of blood cells in the body. What are these hematopoietic stem cells? We will see in detail in our upcoming lectures. So stay tuned with ITLS Academy, guys. If we talk about these bone marrow cells, These are a mixed cell population that generate bone, cartilage, fat, fibrous connective tissues, and the reticular network that supports blood cells formation, that is RBC, WBC, and platelets. And these were described shortly after the discovery of hematopoietic stem cells. Coming to the next point, recently a population of progenitor cells. Progenitor cells are a kind of cells that give rise to specialized cells. This cell will give rise to two cells, and these both cells will be specialized cells, and this differentiate into endothelial cells. These endothelial cells are a type of cell that lines the blood vessels, and this was isolated from circulating blood and identified as originating in bone marrow. The bone marrow appears to contain three stem cell populations. These are hematopoietic stem cells, stromal cells, and possibly endothelial progenitor cells. Here in this diagram, you can see this diagram is of a bone. As we know that bones contain bone marrow, so this is a part of bone that contains bone marrow. This is bone marrow filled in the bone. We are going to take a small part of this bone marrow and we will dissect it and we will study in detail. So let us first see what are the components of this bone marrow. What things are present in the bone marrow. So bone marrow will contain bone matrix, stromal cells, blood vessels, that is pericyte, adipocyte, and osteoclast. These osteoclasts are cells that are related to bone. This osteo word is related to bone, and most probably these are bone forming cells. Adipocytes are the cells that help in the storage of fat. So these are the components that are present in the bone marrow. We are going to take these stromal cells and we are going to see how these stromal cells function. After differentiation, you can see here these are osteoblast cells. These are responsible for bone formation. These are lining of these cells, and these are osteocytes. These cells can further form hematopoietic supportive stroma and hematopoietic stem cells, and also marrow adipocytes will be produced by these cells. These stromal cells further differentiate into hematopoietic stem cells as we have seen here. Let us see how these hematopoietic stem cells differentiate. These hematopoietic stem cells are pluripotent in nature, and on differentiation these cells form multipotent stem cells. These multipotent stem cells on differentiation form two kinds of cells. First one is a lymphoid progenitor cell and next one is a myeloid progenitor cell. On further differentiation, this lymphoid progenitor cell can form natural killer cells and lymphocytes. As we know that lymphocytes are of two types, that is T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte. Let us see differentiation of myeloid progenitor cells. Myeloid progenitor cells on differentiation forms neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils, monocyte or macrophages, platelets, and red blood cells. The all you have studied here is a composition of whole blood. All these things are composition of blood, as we know that hematopoietic stem cells are responsible for the formation of blood and blood cells. So this is a part that contained whole stem cells, whole cells that are present in blood. Three types of cells are present in blood, that is RBC, WBC and platelets. I am showing you where these are located. This is RBC, these are platelets. So where are WBCs? This whole part comes under the WBC, that is white blood cells. So these are WBCs, this is our RBC and these are our platelets. So we can say that this is our whole blood composition and we have studied it. Let us see adult stem cells in some other tissues. Endothelial progenitor cells. First point, endothelial cell line, the inner surfaces of blood vessels throughout the body, and it has been difficult to identify specific endothelial stem cells in either the embryonic or the adult mammal. During embryonic development, just after gastrulation, a kind of cell called the hemangioblast, which is derived from the mesoderm, is presumed to be the precursors of both the hematopoietic and endothelial cell lineages. Next point is evidence that hemangioblasts do exist some comes from studies of mouse embryonic stem cells that are directed to differentiate in vitro, that is outside the body. These studies have shown that a precursor cell derived from mouse embryonic stem cell that express FLK1. FLK1 is a receptor for vascular endothelial growth factors, that is VEGF in mice, and this can give rise to both blood cells and blood vessel cells. Several recent reports indicate that the bone marrow contains cells that can give rise to new blood vessels in tissues that are ischemic. Skeletal muscle stem cells. First point, skeletal muscles like the cardiac muscles of heart. What is the difference between skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle? If I ask, these are not autorhythmic. These need any response from the outside to generate another response, while cardiac muscle cells are autorhythmic. So, skeletal muscles like the cardiac muscles of the heart and smooth muscles in the walls of blood vessels, digestive system and the respiratory system is derived from embryonic mesoderm. To date, at least three populations of skeletal muscle stem cells have been identified. These three populations I am going to write here. These three populations are satellite cells, these are the cells. Satellite cells are a type of cells that are found in the dorsal aorta. Okay, and these are the so-called side population cells. These are also known as side population cells. These are known as side population cells. So let us see some detail about these cells, that is side population cells or the satellite stem cells. The authors conclude that a similar population of side population or a satellite stem cells can be derived from either adult mouse bone marrow or skeletal muscles and suggest there may be some direct relationship between bone marrow derived stem cells and other tissue or organ specific cells. Epithelial cells precursors in the skin and digestive system. First point, epithelial cells, which constitute 60% of the differentiated cells in the body and are responsible for covering the internal as well as external surfaces of the body, including the lining of vessels and other cavities. The epithelial cells in skin and in the digestive tract are replaced constantly. Next point. Another population of stem cells in skin occurs in the basal layer of the epidermis. These stem cells proliferate in the basal region and then differentiate as they move towards the outer surface of the skin. A dividing skin stem cell can divide asymmetrically to produce two kinds of daughter cells. and when this cell will produce two kind of data cell. The first one will be stem cell like the parent cell, and another one will be a specialized cell. This stem cell will have the property of self-renewal. Here in this diagram you can see the formation of whole kind of blood cells are shown in this diagram. This is started from zygote, that is a cell derived from the for a process of fertilization. On differentiation, this zygote forms blastocyst. Blastocyst contains embryonic stem cells, and these embryonic stem cells are pluripotent in nature. On further differentiation, this blastocyst forms epiblast. This epiblast is formed post-implantation, that is after the process of implantation. This contains epiblast stem cells, and these cells are also pluripotent in nature. Further, this epiblast develops into late embryo or early fetus. The embryonic stem cells that are separated from this late embryo are again pluripotent in nature. Next comes primordial germ cells that are responsible for the formation of adult. These adult stem cells are multipotent or unipotent in nature. These are not pluripotent. Further, these multipotent cells can form skin, central nervous system, bone marrow, and some other parts. These all parts, with the help of various signaling molecules like OCT4, SOX2, KLF4 and MYC, with the help of signaling and with the help of these signaling molecules, these can form induced pluripotent stem cells. And again, these are pluripotent cells. This is the whole process from where the process has started and the point to which this whole process will go. This starts from the formation of zygote, that is fertilization of egg and sperm. So thank you very much guys for watching this session. Follow ITLS Academy on various social media platforms and also subscribe our channel ITLS Academy. Thank you very much everyone for watching.